To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
Well, good morning and welcome to Fifi's Jazz Cafe. We're having our coffee together and I'm excited. Good morning, Amy Duran. How are you, my love? You know, we here in the United States decided to just stop using coal, stop the production of coal, and we thought that that was pretty crazy when we started it, right? Well, now these two stories, which I'm sure most of you have already heard, got me a little, cattywampus because I was not thinking that this was really happening. So I want to show you two stories. As you can see in the title, we're looking at China and we're looking at Mexico's coal production. Meanwhile, we've stopped it altogether. We've halted jobs, we've halted production. We've just decided, hey, no more, right? Well, take a look at these two stories. We're also going to look at how they say that we should use meat that's not real in order to help us, prevent global warming, to get it all down by 2030. Yeah. So let's check out what one of our nemesis are doing. China's green plans go up in smoke, government data. This story was written or published on November 15th of this year. And it goes on to say that China has ramped up coal production to its highest level since 2015 in a push to rein in record energy prices and boost supply. Now, I don't know why they chose now, but they did. Let's just do it while Biden's in office. Let's just do it, while he's here because, well, no one's going to seem to care. No one's going to stop anything. No one's going to say anything. And who's going to say anything to China? No one. No one's going to say one word. So it says here that both globe's biggest coal producer and consumer. It's the biggest coal producer and the biggest coal consumer. China produces some 357.9 million tons of coal in October, up to 7% more than the month before. Figures released by the country's National Bureau of Statistics said on Monday. Now, moreover, last week, the coal production in the country surged to a record high of 12.5 million tons a day. China's National Development and Reform Commission reported China's overall coal output over the first 10 months of 2021 grew 4% on the year. The output increase is the result of the state-approved expansions at over 150 coal mines across the country. The government also recently banned local authorities from closing coal mines without the green light from Beijing and called for an immediate restart at coal mines once problems that led to their shutdown were solved. Now, spot coal prices at China's northern ports plunged on Monday. Now listen, the date of this was the 14th, right? 15th. Okay, so now it's telling you that they plunged that Monday, the week of the 15th. And it went down to nearly half of their mid-October levels on the news of the output boost and Beijing's other recent steps to rein in the country's lingering energy crisis. All right, the dirtiest of fossil fuels, coal, provides nearly 60% of China's electricity needs. The country, which is in recent years has been moving to curb coal overproduction under the agenda switch to greener energy sources, was recently forced to reverse its steps. I'm going to sip on that one because it wasn't forced to do nothing. That's what they chose to do. I hope you guys brought your coffee. And I hope you brought your hot chocolate. I hope you brought your tea or whatever you drink in the morning. But they were not forced to do anything. It looks like to me they willfully walked into that one. Now it goes on to say that as the country began to recover from the surge of the COVID, an industrial demand nearly tripled coal prices, prompting electricity producers to curb its output, which led to power shortages and disruptions at China's many industrial sites. Several Chinese provinces were reported to have been hit by power cuts and supply problems, and in the past 2 months affecting both households and a number of factories fueling the world's second largest economy. Now this story comes from the RT, again, and it was published or written or both on November 15th, 2021. I want to come over here and have a chat with you guys and find out what you think about that. Don't you think that's I don't even want to know. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Okay, so you say, hey, Double A say, I never said to close anything. So who decided Biden is a goat, a liar, or a thief? Good morning. How are you, Marty Lauderdale? So good to see you, darling. You are such a pretty gal. I saw your picture on my email, and you're just such a pretty gal. You're gonna go share? Okay, thank you. So I think that they're basically, here's what I believe. I believe that a lot of other countries are gonna do the exact same thing. If coal is how you get down, then you can't get down without coal, right? If you have to have coal to allow your electricity and everything else to run, it's not going to be a difference. You're going to need it, period. But let me tell you what else is going on. Because it's not just China. Not at all. It's Mexico as well. I feel somewhere along the line, the only people who are going to walk this fine line for not using this or that, it's going to be us. Yep, I do. So let's take a look at this. Now, mind you, this story was from the top of the year, and you may have seen this one. But it asks, why? Why? Why is Mexico returning to coal? It's a good question, because aren't we all supposed to be, making people unemployed and being a little more chilly? They're going to turn this place into a third world country. We're going to have lights out at 3 o'clock every day in order to fuel the electronic cars that only go down the street so they can keep a good eye on you. Yeah, that's what I said. So it says, as the world transitions from fossil fuels and weans itself off heavy energy sources, one country is running against the current and right back into the arms of coal. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador has bucked all convention as he tries to make good on his campaign trail promise to establish a norm of energy sovereignty for his country, bringing down the world's greenhouse gas emissions and curbing the extradition and combustion of dirty fuels, particularly coal, is paramount to the increasing urgent missive of avoiding catastrophic climate change. And I'm so tired of hearing about that. And it's obvious that these other countries don't believe it either, right? Because if they believed it as much as they're pushing it here, then they would not be creating this coal. They would not be doing the sale. They wouldn't be sending it out. They wouldn't be doing any of that. So in order to keep the globe's temperatures from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius over the pre-industrial average, the threshold set by scientists to stave off the world's effects of climate change will need to cut oil use by 37% and gas use by 25%, and cut oil altogether by just 2030. Put simply, this decade will make all the difference in the future of our species. Now, that is what the writer says, right? I don't believe any of that. That's just me. Anyway. Now, it says this is why it's particularly alarming that the sizable economic and industrial force like Mexico has thrown caution and a fair amount of carbon dioxide to the wind and doubled down on its dedication to ramping up its coal industry at the very time that most countries are attempting to phase out the particularly dirty fossil fuel. It says, quote, instead of thinking of a transition from coal and fossil fuels, he's thinking of using more coal and petroleum. Now, this comes from Adrian Fernandez. That's the director of climate change organization in Mexico. He was quoted by The Guardian as saying that. And then he continues, no other G20 country has such abnormal or retrograde energy policies as this government. It's not going to advance us toward our climate goals. Mind you, the story we just read from the RT was this month. This story was February 23rd, 2021. Can he say that now? Can he say that now? That no other country in the G20 has such abnormal or retrograde energy policies as this government? I don't think he can say that. So now the populist Mexican president has publicized his plans to purchase almost 2 million tons of thermal coal from small producers around the country, making matters even more concerning at the time that López Obrador is bringing coal plants back online. He's also downsizing clean energy initiatives. Do you see this? Wow. Hey, I can't blame them. I honestly can't blame them. These moves are just the latest part of a years-long campaign led by López Obrador to restore Mexico's energy autonomy. They don't want to be leaning on nobody else. Isn't that a novel idea? Isn't that a novel idea? They don't want to be leaning on nobody else. They don't want to lean on any other country to make sure that they have what they need. So you mean to tell me Mexico wants to be self-sufficient? Are you kidding? I can't believe it. Mexico literally wants to be self-sufficient and not lean on anybody else? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What an idea. What a concept. Hey, why didn't we think of that? Right? Why didn't we think of that? Yeah. Gee whiz. Okay, so they want their own energy autonomy, and although his predecessor, Nieto, enshrined certain energy overhauls into the Constitution, such as allowing foreign investments in Mexican oil and welcoming competition with Mexican state-run oil and gas company Pemex. For the first time in nearly a century, López Obrador has quietly found quasi-legal ways of pushing those players out. I don't blame them. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let me come back on this side and visit with you. Hello, Ronnie.d.Mann. I see you. Okay. Gene, it's for military. It's for military application. Okay. The Hippocrates Matrix says North America fire sale. North American fire sale. Just got here. Didn't quite hear the full story, but I'm ready for the next story. Okay? Okay, not seeing any comments in the chat. Yeah, I know. And we only have 24 views from yesterday's morning, even though we had more at the end of the show. Yep, Marty says. Neither am I, Amy. That's strange. You know what? I believe that the Most High Yah has something special for this channel and has something special for me. Even though they have been attacking and they can do all that they want to do, you know what? Yah is still on the throne, and it doesn't matter what any entity, no matter what anything tries to do, we will speak the truth and we will do it and do it right. And that's what's going on here. So they can do whatever they want. I don't care. They will never, ever, ever stop truth because Yah is truth. Period. Joy Trujillo says Mexico has used electric buses for years. The trolley bus travels down a power line. Well, they've obviously mastered it. And I don't think that America is going to have such a good time or good luck, as you could say. Okay, and I'm using luck very loosely because we don't believe in luck. Well, for America's sake, I'll say luck. Okay, I don't think America's going to have luck, or they just might, with making all of these ports and stuff for them, for us. We have all of these places that each state now, I read the information for Alabama just the other day, and the part of the infrastructure for the state of Alabama, the portion that was allotted for them, has money set aside for the power stations to power your electric car. I can't see that as coming out as a good thing. Electricity is a lot rougher to deal with than gas. I don't think they really care. I really don't. Okay? I really don't. So, yeah. Ronnie.d.Mann, how are you? Amy says. I don't think so. What do you guys think? I mean, I could be wrong. Hello, Sharon Marie. We might need to head down to Mexico, Fifi. Okay. Okay, girl. I was just thinking that same thing. Thank you, Chef Tango. You know, I don't know. I just think that Calgary and New Delhi are going on climate lockdown. Huh. Wow. Mexico will outperform the U.S. Yes. You see what I'm saying, Lunch Honey 4. You see exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Hey there. Good morning, Starfire Horizon. How are you? So these are just some of the things that are going. We're not even done reading this story. I just had to take a break because it was making my head pop, because I can't believe that we're sitting here, you know, laying people off, firing folks, not having any oil, gas prices out the roof. You know, we're all trying to be all this climate stuff. We're jacking up the country. The country on the inside is imploding from the inside. We're literally imploding right now. I don't know. I don't know. But if you don't get the last piece of meat off the table, it looks like in a minute, we ain't going to be eating real meat. You better get the last piece of meat. That's the next couple of stories. You better go get the last piece of meat off that table, off that serving dish that Mama put on the table. Because if you don't, you're going to be eating some weirdo stuff, some real weirdo stuff. We're the only people that are doing this, and that's because we will allow demons to run the country. So that's why. All right, so America's going to have due judgment. Yes. Chef Tango. They're loving on you, Chef Tango. Mexico's president said that he will insult every politician that opposes the amnesty. Well, I'm sure he will. Hippocrates says the truth does not require your participation in order to exist. BS does. Okay. Favorite quote by Terrence. Okay. Jack E. Alley 2. Thank you for doing what you can. Thanks a million. We have to do the best that we can. Gates and Buffett are purchasing power plants in the United States. Hey, where aren't they? I mean, is there any place that has just said no to all of these cats? Is there any place? Is there any place that we could just like hang out? Bugs, yes. Felicia, demons, yes, they are. Good morning, M. Leslie. How have you been? You guys, listen. I know a lot of folks are saying they can't find us. They can't. They don't know when we're on. Every morning for this first season, this is the first season of Fifi's Jazz Cafe. So this is the first season. When this season is over, we'll have a 1-month break and then we'll come back. But until that break, we're here every morning at 9 a.m. And we'll announce when we're here, when we're not. Okay? And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're on the Lockhart Perspective with some motivational stuff and some scriptural things. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Central. So if you guys can't find us, check in on those days. And don't worry about the fact that you can't get a notification. Let's just pretend those don't exist. Let's just, because they really don't. And if you put a like on something and you really did want to store it in your liked videos, you may want to go back and check it. Okay? Again, you just have to keep up because they're doing so many changes, to help us here at YouTube. And you want to be, in compliance. So since they're changing things and they're fixing a few different algorithms until stuff gets going right, we just want to make sure that, we're on the same page together. DK says, been saying that for a year or two since they started pushing that new plant-based meat. Only the rich will have meat soon. Absolutely. Hello, Truth Broadcasting. You're absolutely right, DK. You're absolutely right. Grab your coffee or your tea, your favorite throw blanket, and chillax with Fifi at the Jazz Cafe. Thank you for that. I so appreciate that. Yes, you guys, because we got a couple of more stories to go. All right, we got a couple of more stories to go. I just thought that it was important to start with that, because when I saw that, I was like, yo, wait a minute, what? They did what? All while we over here tripping about other stuff. Okay, all while we're over here having a fit about everything else that's going on. These cats are producing coal and they're becoming reliant on themselves. Meanwhile, we've got Mr. Geritol up here stopping different pipelines with oil. Okay? And headed to the next one.
Oh, let me see, wait a minute. I've got the keys now to the White House. And I'm going to just go ahead and stop the production of oil. I wonder, maybe I can have somebody investigate why the gas prices are so high. Because I just saw they had to fill up our car and it cost them $7 a gallon. I think we ought to investigate why that's happening. Jill, you want to know how can we start an investigation to find out why the gas prices are so high? I don't know. And the kids love to rub my leg and watch my hair come back up. Weirdo.
He's literally got he's literally starting a task force to find out why the gas prices are so high. Did you see that the other day? This cat literally stopped one of the pipelines and is headed to the other one.
I'm headed to the other one right now, Jill.
He's literally headed to the other one. He's got his hand on the wall, walking down the hall to guide him to the switch for the other pipeline so he can turn that one off too, like it's a light running rampant at night and a light bill was high last month. He walking to the other pipeline to turn that one off. And he actually employed people to say, hey, I want to do an investigation. Quick, somebody get a pen, jot this down. It's going to be groundbreaking. I want you to find out why the gas prices is so high. Oh my God. For everybody who voted for that cat, do you want a refund? Do you want your money back yet? Oh, Lord. Okay, let me keep going so I can read the rest of the story. Amy Duran, I think both channels are live now, and we can only see the comments on TLC. Yeah, all three channels are live right now. So we've got Headlines with a Voice joining us this morning. We've only got 37 people here, but that's okay. You know, it's good. I'm happy that we have the people who are here. So yes, we're live on TLP as well as Headlines with a Voice and the Lockhart Perspective Headlines with a Voice. Okay? Yes, it will. It will. Lunch Honey 4. Joy Trujillo, the deer and the deer disease is taking out. Yes, that's true. I just saw that. Joy Trujillo. Look at what Joy Trujillo says right here. She's absolutely right. This is a true thing. By the thousands. Do you see that? By the thousands. So for those of you who know how to use a bow and arrow, or for those of you who, hunt, this is a tragedy. But I want to tell you something, Joy. It started back in 2017, 2016, because my brothers-in-law was out. They were out in Mississippi, and they were finding them all over the place, and they were just dead, just patches of them. So they started doing this with their evil selves. Oh boy, Yah's gonna get you. Yeah, he is. Hello everyone, good to see you, Scan family. How are you? watching both channels. Well, good. I'm glad you are. M. Leslie, you're giving love, Hippocrates, or is it? Yeah, it is Hippocrates Matrix. Your beautiful face is the only notification I get now. Okay. M. Leslie, I'm tech challenged. Okay. You guys are having some pretty good conversations among yourself. Yes, pray like you mean it or like your life depended on it, in other words. Hello there, Angela. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Chef Tango says, everyone needs to find your local 3%. Absolutely, I 110% agree. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You know, this whole docile mindset is so counterproductive. You know what I mean? It's let me be quiet. Okay, so come to Brooks, Kentucky. We need to create a community, and I need help to do it. People here are too paranoid to listen. People just don't know who they can trust anymore. You know what? And I'm going to add to that. And let me say this. I think that it's the whole Noah effect. Don't you think so, Truth Broadcasting? Don't you think that it's the whole Noah scene, you know, where Noah was warning everyone? No one would listen. Nobody listened until it was too late. And which one of the angels was it that was at the door, Ronnie? There was a specific angel that had to come and sit at the door. A real heavyweight cat. Because, they just wouldn't listen. And then they started to basically beat the doors in. I can imagine how that sound, first hearing the torrential rain that they never heard before, and then to hear people screaming and hollering outside the door. Why that angel was necessary is so evident when you can consider the sound of carnage coming from the outside of that ark. And I do believe that, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. You need to get under the covering of the Most High Yah. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, because when it come down, it's coming down. And those that it's supposed to get, it's gonna get. They gonna get God. I agree with you, Truth Broadcasting. Deb Woods, I'm good, Amy, having coffee and watching the snow melt. Oh, girl, you need to send me some screenshots so we can use that. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Power is out at my New Orleans home right now. You know, I believe that's what they're going to start doing. They're going to start having those rollouts just to get you accustomed to not having. Just to get you accustomed to taking your beef and putting it under salt and, you know, using a brine to keep it the way that it's supposed to be. Just to get you accustomed of smoking your meat. Just to get you accustomed to canning your vegetables and your fruits. Just to get you accustomed to making sure you got some kerosene and some lamps. Just to get you accustomed to making sure that your kerosene lamps got oil and you got candles. Just to make you sure, okay? Okay, that's what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to tell you something. They're trying to tell you to have a backpack for each kid. That's what they're trying to tell you. Them people. Deb Woods, I miss the snow, Amy Duran says. Yeah, because you hardly get it there in Georgia, right, Amy? I think the last time that Georgia got that snow was when I was living out there, and it was a hot mess. They did not know what they were doing at all. Yeah, Mr. Geritol, that's the dude's name. Yeah, he's the spokesperson. He's the Metamucil spokesperson. He's Metamucil spokesperson. That's who this cat is. Okay. That's who he is. Rosebud. Oh, okay. I mean, come on now. You just imagine him walking down the hallway? Jill! The government is paying $50 billion to Pfizer for COVID pills at $500 per pill. That's because this place has been taken over by some folks that shouldn't have got in the back door. Okay? And they were running a good game at first. It was like, hey, we thought that they were the real, politicians. We thought that they really were, Americans. We really did. But we didn't know until it was too late that the cats that were taken over were actually illegal people that are not really people. This is a mess. This stuff ain't these. Look here, something ain't right. We already know that. We already know there's some flies in the buttermilk. All of us already know there's some flies in the buttermilk. Okay? But this cat here, they just drag him out every now and again when they need him to make an appearance. And you guys go over there and let me know what you think on Patreon, because I just talked about the duel between he and Camel Toe. I just got through putting that up over on Patreon. I just put the duel that they're having over there. I mean, because they're setting it up for us to believe that, hey, you know what? They really like each other, but they're having a bad time. They're having some miscommunication. And it's not miscommunication. Neither one of them were supposed to be where they are. Price gouging, that's why prices are high. That's what he thinks. Has nothing to do with supply and demand. Hey, come on, Read Unstoppable. It's good to see you, pretty lady. No one in their right mind would ever vote for... Turn the record player on.
Turn the record player on.
Okay, the FDA is asking court to allow 50 years to release the... Whoo! You know what? How many of you guys saw Tina Turner in Thunderdome? I think what needs to happen is we need to all get around the dome and 2 men enter, 1 man leave. All of us. Welcome to Thunderdome, and just run. That's what we need to do. We need to just forge ahead. I'm telling you, they better be glad I wasn't born a dude. I tell you right now. Hey, or could just turn into Deborah. I tell you that all the time, because I tell you, we all, I don't know about most of you, but I know for me, my family, we've all had that warrior type of spirit where it's like we want to defend. This right here is defendable. They're asking the court to allow over 50 years to release the jab info to the public. Meanwhile, who in the public's going to be left that would even remember it? Because most of the people that'll be left will be mindless zombies. There wouldn't be no need to tell anybody. There would be no need to tell anybody anything. See? Look what Starfire says there. There'd be no need. Who'd even want to know? Okay? There'd be no need. None whatsoever. Because it does, William Craig. William Craig, because it does. Because it does. Yes, it does. Yes, my dog died with deer disease. Wow. And East Tennessee can't eat deer meat without testing it first. Do you see what's going on? There is a price for this. There is a price for this. Oh, don't be deceived. For Yah is not mocked. He's not. That which a man sows, that shall he also reap. Yes. Great Noah point. This is biblical times. Yes, Chef Tango. Yep. Well, at least we need to get with neighbors, or we won't make it. Yeah, unless you're living in a place where you got a lot of liberal neighbors and you're like the only person sitting there. You know what I mean? Yep. Come on, Read Unstoppables. Love it up on everybody. Thank you so much for that reminder, Marty Lauderdale. If you guys would like to donate, you definitely can. You can go to PayPal me, FT Lockhart, okay? Or you can go to CashApp, the Lockhart Perspective. It's $ Lockhart Perspective. Do not send it to Felicia Lockhart. Oh my goodness. One of the sisters to the channel did that, and the nice lady returned it. I need to tell you that there are several Felicia Lockharts, one of which is a cousin. Okay? So yeah, Cuz don't need no money. Cuz doing good. She got a PhD. She doesn't have just a couple of lowly BAs, okay? She doesn't have a couple of those. She got a PhD, okay? Graduated from Stanford Law. So she good. Okay? So don't get us mixed up. But nonetheless, yes, it's $ Lockhart Perspective, and then it's PayPal me FT Lockhart. All right. So Joy Trujillo says, shelter under his wings. Yes. Joy, look at all the scriptures that are about wings with our Father. I want everybody in the chat, okay, when we talk again, because I got a couple more stories that we need to run through. I want you guys all to look at how many times wings are referred to as our Father, where our Father is concerned. Wow, that is such an amazing thing. Look at all those wings. Look at all those wings. Yes, look at all those wings. Yes, we're also available. Thank you, Marty. On the website. Oh, which we're going to be dressing up because somebody over at Headlines with a Voice said, you guys need to just stop complaining and put your stuff on your own website. And she was right. So we're going to do that. Talked to my brother last night. He took the little avatar off because I had my travel and my other stuff still on there. And so we're going to update it and put all of the things that we can over there. And also on Spotify, she says. Thank you for that. Truth Broadcasting says, in Noah's day, they wouldn't listen because they were engulfed in their own sin. These days, they really don't know who to trust. And I think a lot of people were misled and it wasted a lot of time. You know what happened the day after? Because I told everybody that I did vote in 2016. As a matter of fact, I think that's the reason why a lot of my shadow banning started. But nonetheless, I digress because I was like 100% with that red hat. I mean, I was 100% completely sold out for the majority of my life. If you cut me, it would be red, white, and blue that would come out because I was completely patriotic and completely conservative. Man, oh man, the day after we all set up and prayed this cat through, that next morning, early in the morning, I got up. And the Father spoke to me really calmly. The Ruach HaKodesh just came really sweetly and said, He did not change anything. It just gave you time to get everything in order. And I said, whoa. So I called my brother and I said something to him, but he was still on that train. He was like, yeah, no, well, okay, well, maybe you're right, but I don't see that, he says. Then I called my best friend because it's just the three of us who were campaigning for him really, really hard, right? And she goes, oh, no, I don't receive that. But that never left my mind. I told Ronnie.d.Mann, who did not vote at that time like that. You know, he wasn't into that type of stuff. I told whoever would really listen that was, you know, in tune with the Father, but those two people did not believe it. And so up until not long ago, my brother said, oh, forget it. He was done, you know, not long ago. But my other friend, she held on a little bit longer onto that train. But I knew that it was just going to be time to get yourself together because what they were doing was playing a game, and they had to parlay the game in the face of those that voted for them, so that when you see him dancing side to side and he makes a misstep, you're just thinking, oh, well, he didn't mean that. It was just a little misstep in the dance. No, he was doing that misstep because that's where he needed to step outside the line to get you to be, you know, a little bit more holding on. Just hold on a little bit more and just believe that I misstepped. But now that we're looking at documentation and going all the way back, we'll see that his involvement in this whole entire thing, and I've read it, I'm sure all of you have read it, the involvement stretches all the way back, and I say all the way back very generously, to 2016, 2017 when he first got in. I mean, the whole snake story a couple of times with no reason for telling it. And then I did sew all of those songs together because I realized what each of them mean. And whenever you're dealing with music, okay, Ronnie.d.Mann has a degree in music. I had scholarships in music. I performed and recorded professionally for years. We know music, and a lot of you in the chat do as well. You know that music is something very, very, it's very powerful, and it has reasons. The songs that I rung together for the subliminal, okay, the planned subliminal, was just that. Look at those songs again in the video, the planned subliminal. It was a purpose, okay? And y'all had me pay attention to all of that. So look at that stuff. This cat was never our friend. And that's the sad part, because now most of us are feeling at a loss and feeling, you know, we feel like he was just very disingenuous and that he treated us pretty badly. Well, oh wait, you know. Genesis 7 says, Yahweh himself closed the door and shut Noah in. That's intense. He himself? Yikes. I thought it was an angel. He himself closed the door. Whoa. That's heavy. Deb Wood says, canning is fun, and I encourage everyone to learn how to can while you can. No one knows who might be a civilian spy for the white-haired troll. You know what? These people, I have no fear for any human being. I don't fear no human being. No human that can touch my body. I don't fear none of them. Do what you do, boo-boo. With a pressure canner, you can can meats too. That sounds delish to be able to do that. You know, like smoked turkey or smoked chicken or smoked beef. I love terms you use for him. Okay. Hey, how you doing there, Chance Ministry? It's so good to see you. So good to see you. Absolutely, Hippocrates says. Okay, God bless you. Let's go, Brandon.
I think we better make that illegal. I don't think that that's very nice. You think they're talking about me?
You're over on the other channel. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm glad you're over on the other channel hanging out for us. Thank you. May I use some of these terms on my broadcast? Why not? Why not? I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to understand what is really, what's really going on. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Can you guys see the ticker tape down there for some of the channels that I'm on? I'm on Odyssey. I'm also on LBRY. I'm also on, Odyssey, LBRY, BitChute, Brighteon, and a few other places. Okay. All right. Hello, beautiful you. Starfire Horizon says, oh boy, she got Tina Turner. Woo! You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, welcome to the Thunderdome. You know what I mean? Let's just get it. You know what I mean? It's all this passive stuff. It's time out. It's time out for the passive stuff. That's the reason why I really was not as far as listening to what was going on in my youth, all the way through my young adulthood. I really wasn't, I really enjoyed listening to the speeches of Martin Luther King Jr., right? Michael King Jr. Michael. That was his real name. He and his father changed his name as an adult male. So when his son was still young, he changed Martin Luther King Jr.'s name to Martin Luther King Jr. But his first name was Michael, just like his daddy. All right. So my whole problem with that premise is, we act as if, we serve this mamby-pamby type of milquetoast, father or Yah or Elohim, but we don't. And we also act like, Yahweh Shah came here to just be nice and be kind. No, he said he came to divide. That's a rough cat. That's a roughneck. Gotta get a roughneck. That's a roughneck. Gotta get a roughneck. That's who that is. That is a roughneck. That's not no cat coming here just being, now you guys, I got this feather and I want you to get out of my father's house because it's written that my father's house will be a house of prayer. Now you skedaddle. That wasn't what he was doing. Homeboy came in kicking stuff over, throwing stuff down, pushing people out the way. So when we have this mindset of just be nice and just be this or that, no. You know what I'm saying? No. Somebody come at you, you better get busy. That's what this is about. I hope everybody is getting their minds right because it's getting to that point. It's going to be to that point. Yeah, it's going to be to that point. You better get your strategy together. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you. Because these cats ain't joking with nobody. See, they had a plan. If you listen to the end of the brand new if you go to Patreon and you listen to the very end of what Cynthia McKinney said on that broadcast, she said they had a plan. That was very powerful. They had a plan and they stuck to their plan. That's the reason why things are going the way that they are, because they, unlike us, were never sidetracked in a ferret type of way. The ferrets get sidetracked by everything shiny. They had a shiny bobble. Ooh, shine. And they go run over there. Like a well-oiled machine, they forged ahead with their agendas. They had a plan and they stuck to it. They had a business plan and they stuck to it. Ronnie.d.Mann brought that point out last evening while we were in a chat. He says, she made a very pivotal point. A very strong point. Yeah, that's right. Okay, you're multitasking, eating and watching. Good. Drink your coffee too. Wings. Yes. Yeah, you guys, look everywhere where it says, Yah, where it refers to our Father with wings. Hey, Cam Jameson, how are you? More pipelines from Canada closed to U.S. at Vancouver, just in time for the winter. You know what I mean? It's just, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. it is a hot mess to think that these are our people. There's no reason why anybody that's in your household or in your family would want to do opposite of what's good for the family. So it's time for us to just realize, and everybody just start saying, you know what? Yah, we thank you that everything that's not like you will be gone. And start to quote the scriptures that talk about how when people who are good are in leadership, how everybody is healthy, how everything is well. Okay? Now we do have power. We do have power with the word. We need to use those scriptures and exercise the power that's given to us in the word of Yah for us to make sure that we have just a little while longer. And I don't care what nobody says. I do that. I believe that. Now look, Ronnie says Yahweh has wings, feathers, pinions. Interesting. You saw the scripture. Yes, there are a bevy of scriptures that shows wings, feathers, pinions. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, there's so many places where he says he wants to cover you, cover you with his wings. Yes. Oh, is Tina Hardman here? I can't see her. There she is. Hi, Tina Hardman. It is good to see you. How are you? How are you? Good to see you. Okay, Ronnie.d.Mann, do you have a channel link? Ronnie.D.Mann, we have that's my brother, and he's here all the time. Go inside of our playlist, and there is a Ronnie.D.Mann playlist. You'll see all of the things that Ronnie has done from, as a matter of fact, I can show you. Let me go through these comments, and I'm going to go through here really quick. Oh, cool, Ronnie. Oh, cool. Ain't that the truth? He gave us time, but he also paved the way for the shortening of days. The Lord knows. The Lord knows. Good. I'm in Northeast North Carolina. I'm concerned about the deer too. Glad I've not eaten any in a while, but it worries me as many here do regularly hunt and consume deer. Yeah. Yep. Ronnie.D.Mann, I got my book yesterday, The Encyclopedia of Ancient Roman Empire. Excellent. Tina Hartman is saying hey to you. Marty saying page, deer season here. Very dangerous. It's very dangerous what they've done. The Holy Spirit is here now, Chef Tango says. Loved Nancy Morgan Hart. Oh, me too, sweetheart. And I miss my sister terribly. But I know her. Let me tell you guys what a spitfire she was. She didn't like a lot of syrupiness. So she didn't like you to be, oh, I love you. Oh, thank you. Oh, this and that. She'd be like, yeah. Okay. She'd be like, get on with it. That's her. That is her. I mean, if you knew her like I knew her, you'd know. She's like, get on with it. Okay, go. Hey, Sarah Brown. Orwell's 1984. Trump was always Emmanuel Goldstein. Controlled opposition. Yes, ma'am. I'm still drinking my coffee too, girl. Let me take a sip right now. It's getting cool, so that's the reason why I could chug it. Okay, the snake story was very strange. The snake story was very strange. The best is yet to come. That's a phrase with a very devilish origin. Where we go, that's a very dark phrase. Yeah, and it does come. I know that I read that in the Book of Enoch. About the where we go, one goes, this or that. Christian B, how have you been? God is the ultimate one that places order in the universe. It is man that creates chaos and deceives others in arrogance for the sake of power and greed. Wow, that's deep. That is deep. At Brian Parker, hello. The deception goes back to creation of this nation. We've an experiment of the elite from the beginning. Yeah, I even said that where it comes to slavery, because I believe slavery was just a test run. Hey, come on, Michael Flynn wants one religion in the United States. Well, that's because he's part of the plan. Yeah, so you see how they have a lot of people who are disastrous that look like you think they won't. That you think they like us, but they don't. Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys, let's get on with the rest of the story. I'm also going to show you the playlist so that you can see Ronnie. Ronnie has some good stuff here. I ordered Cynthia McKinney's book, When China Sneezes. Oh, I'm glad. Did you enjoy that over there on Patreon? I hope that you did. Or I think we gave you the link. All of the folks that are over here that are members, and most of the members have received or should have received the link for the newest Cynthia McKinney interview. And if you didn't, and it's possibly because you are a Patreon and you received it. So now the Patreon code is the same for all 3 channels because I'm uploading there. And I'm uploading just general conversations that I possibly couldn't have here, okay? And so there are uploads of that. There's an upload of her video. We're going to be uploading again there today with some stories that we possibly cannot do here. So yes, if you go to the Patreon link for either of the channel, whether it be TLP Headlines with a Voice or Headlines with a Voice, it's the exact same Patreon. Okay, it's the exact same Patreon. If you were a Patreon on the old Headlines with a Voice, you may keep it there because we have no access to that stuff and we have no access to the great work that was put there. And so you'll want to keep that because you'll lose access if you leave. However, there are some people who have reduced their dollar amount there so that they can get the new information that's going on with the Patreon button that's on Headlines with a Voice and TLP Headlines with a Voice, okay? All right, so you guys, as we finish looking at the story, we see that it says, as if to highlight the validity of the current Mexican administration's energy sovereignty project, when Texas went dark last week, which was February, remember when this story was written, last week amidst the freezing temperatures and sweeping energy shortages, the state's woes and blackouts spilled over into northern Mexico, as exports for natural gas over the southern border taped off by 75%. It's more than understandable why many countries have the desire to shore up their own energy security and sovereignty, and indeed, Mexico is not the only country to fall back on coal to meet the needs of their country. China has leaned heavily on coal during the year of economic and public health uncertainties and has even ramped up overseas production, even as President Xi Jinping makes more and more ambitious climate commitments. Even parts of the publicly climate-conscious Canada have considered falling back on coal to revitalize the nation's economy after last year's record oil slump. Clearly, we have some work to do if we have any hope of reaching our decarbonization goals. Keeping it in the ground not only requires cheaper and more efficient clean energy alternatives, but it also requires major incentives for making the transition and significant disincentivizing for failing to do so. Now, the case in Mexico makes it clear that both the carrot and the stick need work. Energy security anxieties will only grow more prevalent as global weather disasters like the one last week in Texas, or at February, at the top of the month, at the top of the year. You remember that, where they did that to Texas on purpose just to see if DARPA was really working or not. Okay? Freeze becomes more common and more frequent as weather patterns change. If global institutions and governments are serious about reducing emissions, then a system of incentives must be introduced to ensure such anxieties drive countries toward cleaner solutions. Now, you know what? The incentivizing part. I really don't think that China is one of those places that have to be incentivized, right? I don't think China cares a rip about being incentivized. You know why? Because they don't need you. Ronnie and I were having a conversation and he made a very good point. China does not need us. They are literally laughing at us. I mean, look at what's going on right now. We had the story that we did at the top of the year, or the top of last year, the end of last year. I don't remember when it was, but I put out a story the same as my sister did. And we were talking about the fact that basically they're building everything around us. They're encamping us. If you ever looked at any old stories dealing with war, you will see that whoever usually would take the high road could come down into the valley, would generally win. And you would see that they would encamp you. They would encamp their enemies. Those folks would usually win. Now, the next story that I want to take a look at, there'll be 2 stories and then we're going to skedaddle. But this is a part of what they're saying to us and what they want to do. All right? This is what they're trying to do. Let's just talk about this. And I got something I want you guys to see. You know how they say everything tastes like chicken? Well, that's going to be the next story. All right, welcome to everybody who's just now pulling in. The concept of lab-grown meat also known as cultured, cultivated, cell-based, or clean meat, emerged over the course of the last 2 decades. Although it's not quite ready for consumers according to this story. Okay, keep your mind on that. Can't find out when the date of this story was. But nonetheless, I digress. Let's get into it. Although it's not quite ready for consumers, Silicon Valley startups are racing to get the lab-grown meat on the market. And the stakes are incredibly high. Lab-grown meat has the potential to spare millions of animals from lifetimes of suffering and inhumane deaths in factory farms. So what are we going to do with all the leftover animals? What are we going to do? Give them a top hat and give them a top hat and a cane? What's up? I mean, okay, nonetheless. 70 billion land animals and possibly trillions of marine animals are killed for human consumption each year. A majority of these animals are raised in factory farms where they experience brutal forms of abuse and severely overcrowded and putrid conditions for the entirety of their short lives. Major meat producers often defend factory farming as the most efficient way to meet the global demand for meat. But evidence shows that these facilities are disastrous for the environment, nearby communities, consumer health, and animal welfare. It should not have to be this way. It's time to fix our broken food system. It's time to look for alternatives. Lab-grown meat could hold the key. What is lab-grown meat? Lab-grown meat is a miracle of modern science. Scientists can harvest a small sample of cells from a living animal and cultivate the sample to grow outside the animal's body, shaping the fully formed sample into cuts of meat. Fresh fillets, hamburgers, and bacon would all have the same taste that consumers know and love, and no animals would need to be bred, confined, or slaughtered to create real meat products. You just get a whole bunch of health problems for the sake of saving the plant, the animal, and the so on and so forth. Got it. How is lab-grown meat made? The term lab-grown meat might sound off-putting, but labs are only involved now in order to support ongoing research and development. Once they begin to produce at scale, lab-grown meat companies will swap out the laboratories for facilities that resemble microbreweries, a far cry from the industrial farms that profit off the horrific exploitation and abuse and slaughter of sentient animals. Instead of killing animals for their meat, the process of making lab-grown meat starts with a careful removal of a small number of muscle cells from the living animal, typically using local anesthetics to provide relief from pain. The animal will experience a momentary twinge of discomfort, not unlike the feeling of getting a routine blood test at a doctor's office, and this process is much less harmful than the lifetime of pain and terror animals experience leading up to their horrific final moments at the slaughterhouse. Then a lab technician placed the harvested cells into bioreactors before adding them to a bath of nutrients. The cells grow and multiply, producing real muscle tissue, which scientists then shape into edible scaffoldings. Using these scaffoldings, they can transform lab-grown cells into steak, chicken nuggets, hamburger patties, or salmon sashimi. The final product is the real cut of meat, ready to be marinated, breaded, grilled, baked, or fried. No animal slaughter required. The lab-grown meat is actually meat? The short answer is yes. The lab-grown meat is real meat. It has the exact same animal cells as we are traditionally considered meat, as we traditionally consider meat. Now, the flesh of the animal is the difference, and it has to do with how it gets to your plate. Lab-grown meat comes from cells harvested by a living animal, while conventional meat, you see how they use those names interchangeably? Lab-grown meat and conventional meat. How about just fake and animal? And conventional meat comes from an animal that's raised and killed for human consumption. Yeah, okay. Well, boy. The idea that no animal has to be raised to be killed or be enough to convenience ethically minded consumers to opt out or to opt for lab grown meat over the conventional meat. And based on, what did I just say? The idea that no animal has to be raised or killed may be enough to convince ethically minded consumers to opt for lab grown meat over conventional meat products. And based on what companies and researchers have already shared about lab grown meat, additional health benefits and reduced environmental impacts may also make lab grown meat a more enticing choice for consumers. What also makes lab grown meat different is that it doesn't contain the same growth hormones and saturated fats associated with conventional meat. And here's what I want to say. I don't believe that the body will actually receive that over a long period of time, because you can't do everything yourself. Man can't be everything. Man can't do everything. But wow, are they not trying to replace the Elohim? Yeah, they are. Artificially, lab-grown meat isn't artificial meat. It is real animal flesh. It just happens to be grown in a lab, not on a factory or farm. Scientists are even working to ensure the lab-created muscle tissue mimics the exact same texture of traditionally grown meat. How many of you know that this has already been going on? By the time they're telling us, they've already used this as guinea pigs. How many times have you gone into a restaurant and you had a piece of meat and it just didn't taste right, or you ordered it from a Chinese restaurant and you were like, this chicken tastes a little spongy, or I've never ever seen a bone in that position. What is that? How many of you have ever done that? They've been doing this already, and that's the reason why Americans, for us to have allegedly been the most rich country on the planet, most of us are walking around big as houses. Most of us, even men who used to be fit now, have a stomach. Okay? Because and they haven't changed their diet. It's what they're eating, because what they're eating, possibly when it goes into our body, folds out like a, folds out like a calendar, just folds out, just pops out like a blow-up bed. You never know. Look at the children today. It's amazing. That in tandem with the fact that they've taken out, physical education out of school, and now most people are sedentary, sitting at the house. Just remove all of that from your thought process and go back 3 years. We've been the biggest and the most unhealthy people on the planet, and it's very difficult to try to change it, because it's something that it does with the brain. What it is, I don't know. But here's the story that I really want to get to, because in as much as we may think that we've seen this and we've read this and we would never ever have anything to do with any of this, let me show you something. This is what we are right now. Does this look familiar? Have any of you seen anything that looks like this in the store? With the yellow package on there, with the yellow topping on there? Has anybody seen any meat in their store that has this bright yellow label? This is cultured meat, lab-grown chicken. But look at that. It says, as people become more aware of the devastating environmental costs of animal agriculture, there's been a veritable explosion in the number of plant-based alternatives hitting the shelves, with some promising vegan meat that's virtually indistinguishable from the real thing. A company named Upside Foods is ready to serve you up even the most authentic experience that real meat can give you, but with none of the agriculture. On Thursday, November 4th, the company opened a vast facility in Emeryville, California, a 16,154 square meter of renewable powered vats and tubes, going by the name of the Engineering, Production and Innovation Center, or EPIC. It's been billed as the first of its kind, and the company says that it's ready to start producing 22,680 kilograms or 50,000 pounds of cultured meat for commercial scale, just as soon as it's legal in the United States. It says, quote, "Our meat method is inspired by nature's basic principles. You start with one cell to give it proper nutrients to allow it to grow and multiply," reads the website of Upside Foods, and so-called culture meat company. The term lab-grown meat, as you may know, is a verbatim in the industry headquarters in Berkeley, California. All the weirdo stuff takes place in California. Have you noticed that? All of the weirdo stuff takes place in California. All the weird stuff. So let's continue. So it says that it takes place there in Berkeley, California. Adding to those basic principles, however, the company's CEO, Uma Valeti's history as a cardiologist, he was inspired to start Upside, he told The Economist, by the idea of injecting stem cells into the human heart to help it heal after a heart attack. He said, quote, "We're committed to completely detaching our production process from animal slaughter. Our aim is to bring animal component-free products to the market as soon as we can." The focus in the last 5 years for the industry has been really to show the science works, Valetti told the Fast Company. Now, the next phase is all about how to bring the products to the lab into industrial scale. The science, now they love this science stuff, right? That science is something that you can see for yourself. The facility, unable to actually sell meat until the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the FDA give regulatory approval, will be open for tours and product testing in January. Now, visitors to Epic's main room will find it lined with huge tanks called bioreactors, where cells harvested from live animals are bathed in a concoction of nutrients that will, science willing, grow. Listen to that. That will, science willing. Do you see what they just said? Science willing. Let me blow this up for you so that you can understand who they're trying to make God. Who they're trying to make Yah. Do you see this? I just put this on Do Not Disturb, so how am I able to be disturbed? But do you see that it says science willing, as if science is the leader? Science willing. We say, God willing, Yah willing. We say that as humans. We say those things. But they're actually letting you know that if you start to get in line with this stuff, science is your God. They just let you know that. Okay? They just let you know that science is your God if you get down with them. Wow. Science willing. Let me scale this back down so that I can get back where I was. But that jumped out at me because, we all say that. A lot of folks say, well, maybe tomorrow, if God say the same and the creek don't rise, if the Lord say the same and the creek don't rise, if Yah say the same and the creek don't rise, whatever it is, when we're saying it, no matter what it is we're saying it because we believe that God is all. And I'm using that term God loosely because they've taken it from being quote unquote God, Yahweh Yah. You stay with me, don't get caught in the weeds. And now they're telling you science willing. What do they keep saying? Trust the science? Trust? Do you see what these cats are doing? That's how I tell you, it ain't no people. This ain't people. This ain't people. Let me find where I was, because that just blew me. Okay. Science willing grows them to a size suitable for a meal. All right? Yeah. Where cells harvested from live animals are bathed in a concoction of nutrients that will, science willing, grow them to a suitable size for a meal. Quote, "We feed the cell a range of nutrients, amino acids, sugars, trace minerals, and vitamins, normally found in food, okay? And similar to what we develop organically in the animal's body, just in a different format," explains the website of Upside Foods. The initial cells themselves are obtained via a variety of methods, the site says, including biopsies from living animals, eggs, fishing, and recently slaughtered animals who were already a part of the food system. We also, quote, we also expect that our cells will be capable of indefinitely self-renewing so that we won't need to return to the animal for subsequent samples, closed quote. That's from the company. Upside Foods is not shy about the eco-friendly credentials of the lab-grown meat over its traditional alternative, and at scale, the website notes, quote, cell culture meat may require up to 90% less of land and water and emit up to 90% fewer greenhouse gases. These things are crazy. These things are crazy. They need to go back to their planet, back to their galaxy, back to wherever they came from, and they need to hurry it up. Research tends to agree the benefits of cultured meat are enormous. Found one analysis from April of 2021. Another from 2019 noted that switching to lab-grown meat could see greenhouse emissions fell by 78.9 to 96%, land use by 99. Who believes any of this? So you mean to tell me that you guys are going to fix what the Most High Yah messed up? So when y'all said that it was good, he messed up? You don't think he knew what was up when he said, be fruitful and multiply? You don't think he knew what he was talking about? You don't think he knew? So you're telling every human that Yah messed up, that he did not foresee people being on the planet and eating animals and eating fruits and vegetables. He didn't foresee any of that. So y'all got to come and correct it for him? Really? Huh. Whoo, Nero. You all are Nero. Nero, Nimrod, everything evil. That's you. That is you. That is. Let me finish. So it's going to fall by 78 to 96% land use and 99% water consumption, by 82 to 96% and energy consumption by 7 to 45% compared to those from the conventional farming, depending on the type of meat. All right? And it gets better. Not only could the new meat reduce the carbon emissions, but it could also potentially reverse them. Instead of using larger land for the necessary agricultural crops required for livestock farming, proposes the 2019 paper. Now, large areas could be released and redeveloped for use for other purposes, such as the carbon capture. However, the as it says here, upsides meat aren't limited to environmental concerns. We all have to get familiar with the concept of zoonotic disease. In the past couple of years, pathogens that can transfer from animals to humans, and the epidemiologists have warned that increasing livestock production increases the likelihood of new diseases emerging. Meanwhile, the very present use of antibiotics in the farming industry has hastened, it says, the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, creating a crisis that threatens to reverse decades of medical process. With cultured meat, those problems are removed, as is the issue of animal cruelty and animal cruelty. Workers in the meat and poultry industry lost body parts. So now they're saying not only is it animal cruelty, but humans have also lost their body parts. And of course, you don't want anybody else that's working in the meat packing plants to lose their body parts, right? Right? You don't want anybody to harm themselves. So we got to make sure that we take care of this and that we get these fake animals meat rolling. This is dangerous, but it's already too late. There's nothing else that we can say. The only thing that we can do right now is complain about it and not eat it. Grow your own vegetables and grow your own fruit. If you're going to get some biddies, make sure they're real chickens, apparently, because it looks like they can create a real chicken out of a nugget from McDonald's. And you know that ain't chicken. It says, with cultured meat, those problems are removed. No animal cruelty, no human cruelty. Workers in the meat, poultry, they get to keep all their fingers and not ground it up with any, in those plants, they get to keep their fingers and their digits and not have them ground up with ground beef and whatnot. Unfortunately, those wanting the taste of the future, there's currently only one place in the world that you can eat cultured meat, and that's Singapore, assuming Upside gets regulatory approval, and it's set to be the first meat on the menu of the San Francisco restaurant since 2018. These people already got this stuff, and they're such liars. Don't believe any of this. By the time they tell us this stuff is already done. It's already done. Yeah, it's already done. So anyway, you guys, I can't believe it. But whoo! Let's see Ronnie.D.Mann's playlist on the Lockhart Perspective. I want to let you guys see some of his awesome work here with us. He is, I just adopted him. He's our resident guest. He's my resident. He's just here for us all the time. Oh, I didn't know that he was live. Gee, I would not have gone on today at this hour if I had known that. Let's see. Okay. All right, so you guys, I'm going to show you how to find Ronnie.D.Mann. Share. I'm going to show you guys how to find his playlist. All right, this is Ronnie.D.Mann. Where you see it says Midnight Oil, Feast of Tabernacles.
Indwelling at the Feast of Tabernacles. This is a party.
Let me give you guys a little bit of
Howard Shah's birthday. I'm just gonna say hallelujah. I know it's
hallelujah.
I know it's
hallelujah. How fitting is this? Oh, and look at that, Ronnie.D.Mann. If that's not a sukkah, I don't know what is. If that is not a sukkah, I don't know what is. This is an amazing thing.
Okay.
My mind every time. Wow. Right.
A sukkah, a shakah. We looked at these yesterday, but these, look at them. Just observe. Just look at the styling of them. What they look like. Just skim through slowly. That's why, like, who invented that scene? It has been handed down throughout the centuries, and then it's been, slightly Europeanized along the way. But the basic crux and concept of it, the original common denominator, is that it is a sukkah, and he was born in a sukkah. Why? Because it is the dwelling place. It is the abode. It is where he settled down into the flesh and came down unto man. This is what time it is. It's Yahweh Shah's birthday. You should be joyous. This is why this is the most joyous celebration on the map.
Wow.
Please hone in on this. They're giving us a falsified, holiday to tell us what's going on as far as, the Xmas, the Christmases and things like that. But that's not his day. That's not his day. This is his feast. This is his feast. See, the Romans call Christmas the feast of the Immaculation, the feast of the Immaculate, or the feast of the Concept. The Immaculate,
Okay, so that is what you'll see when you go. He breaks down all of the good stuff that we get here on the Lockhart Perspective. And if you want to go and check out the playlist, please do. There's a lot of good information that's in there, and there is nothing that is shared that is not backed up by quantifiable evidence and that has not been researched. We put everything on the screen, and you get to see it and search it out yourself. So I hope that helps you find it. I forgot who asked. Alan Davis, what's going on? We're about to get out of here in a little bit, you guys, in a few minutes, but I just wanted to read those to you guys and give you my opinion of all of it. Have my coffee with you and listen to a little bit of something relaxing this morning. But you know what I tell you? This place has, let's just get ourselves prepared. We see the direction that it's going. You already understand that the food that you eat just might not be real. And I only see about 38 or 40 people in here. But I want you guys to take the opportunity, and if you can, share this out with folks. All right? All right? Just share it out with people if you can. When they start on humans, simple, we are blank. Yes. Yes, Marilyn. Yes, Marilyn. You are absolutely right. That is absolutely the truth. Yep, real food, not lab-grown slop. Yep, but I mean, it's important for us to know exactly what's what, all right? And where the time is, what time frame we're in right now. I agree. Factory farms are awful, but they want to act like factory farms or lab-grown synthetic meat are the only two options. Not true. They created this because they want to be ya. You know what I mean? They created all of this stuff because they want to be ya. That's just it in a nutshell. They create and do all this stuff because they can't be him. Okay, water fast. And how long can we do that? Wait a minute. She said they are growing human ears on rats. Jeez Louise. Well, we already know that we got to looking at the, we did a story about maybe a few months back where we were discussing the brains, the skulls. You know, they're doing lots of chimera stuff, man. This stuff is not new. It's been happening for millennia, you know? Yes, as always, Betty R. As always, yes. Yes. They've been paying some ranchers to slaughter their stock and paying them to do it and telling they really don't have a choice. Imagine what this will do to people's health. And that's what I'm saying, Angela. I believe that this was going on for a minute already. I really do. I believe that it was going on for a minute already. Yep. The majority of people who are so supportive of non-slaughter of cows are the same ones who are so supportive of the plan. Yes, so do I. I do too. Good point, R. Jones. Good point. My friend runs an animal sanctuary. Who's still here of these quotes that I am putting up? Let me get a 1 for everybody that is here in the chat with us, or everyone who's watching. Even if you're not commenting, could you please put a 1 in the chat? Because my number tells me one thing, but I'm seeing another number that tells me something else. So if everybody who's here can just put a 1 in the chat, we'll just begin to take roll so that I can see everybody that's here, because I'm seeing different numbers. Okay. All right. Good morning, Mama Bear, Papa Bear. Everybody is saying hello. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, Felicia, you're right. Well, you know, yeah, it's good. They are changing the DNA of humans. And the funny thing about changing the DNA of humans is all it takes is for us to get upset once or have a very big catastrophic situation, is what some of them have said. That if you have a really catastrophic thing that happens in your life, it can change a lot of stuff in you, right? Oh, boy. It's just amazing. Nope, I haven't seen that packaging yet. I've seen that bright yellow package. I've seen that bright yellow package inside of some stores. And I think maybe it's because they do have little test areas where they're testing it. Oh, that's nothing, you all. Oh, somebody says Soylent Green. Eat humans or be content. The scoops! Remember that, Joy Trujillo? Is Joy Trujillo still here? Does the scoops mean anything to you? You guys remember in the movie Soylent Green, the scoops! Yes, a lot of people are going vegan, but you know what? They really have to be cognizant of the fact that even though they're going vegan, some of them, and I'll bring that to you guys in the next day or so, where it's talking about how they're using these plants also to create fake vegetables. And we already knew that, but I just want to break it down and show you to what extent they're going and to what extent they're doing it and how they're doing it. It's really amazing the way that these demons are working. I want the milk, the cream, the butter, the cheese, the yogurt, and I can't be keeping these food-producing cows, sheep, and goats alive. Okay? Okay, food and drugs under the same administration. Things that make you go, which means you know that they're just putting that there. We're just going to pass it over here to our friends, and we're going to tell them to let us know if we can do it. And they're all sitting on the same board. As a matter of fact, I sit on their boards of their organizations, and they sit on my boards of my organizations. So I'm just going to pass it over to him and ask him, what do you think? Well, I think it's a good idea. You do? Okay, I do too. All right, you want to do it? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. All right, high five. We're going to make billions. We're going to make billions off the backs of these slaves. Listen. Every single one of these organizations that they say give the thumb of approval for something, as you guys all know, have done a couple of things. They all work across the aisle. Each one of them One has worked with one has been the CEO of one pharmaceutical company. Now one is sitting on the board of the FDA. And one is sitting over here and they're doing this, and now one's and then you got all the weak-minded people that are in Congress saying, sure, I'll take a couple of $1,000. I could use a new wing on my house. Why not? My wife's always wanted a pool. And then after you trade America out to take some of their money, she ends up leaving you for one of the cats that work over there. So it's all a hot mess. But the deal is, everybody that's up there needs to just go away. I say, go away. We have the Second Amendment for a reason, but nobody seems to want to use it. And us chicks can't do it. So dudes, get with the program. All right, I see 44 on one side. I see 49 on another side. I need folks to let me know who's here. Who is here? Give me a one. Sarah Brown says, the cows across the field from me are happy cows, well treated. Yes, they'll eventually be slaughtered, but they aren't mistreated while they're alive. Lots of grass to eat, a pond, and shade. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I've tasted some pretty well-treated cows before, and they are very delicious. Very, very delicious. There was this place that I went to in Florida where they were telling you how the animals were petted, and they used to pet them and love on them, and then they feed them with a bottle, and then they come and put it right before you and say, this one is $97 a pound. And I'm like, why? Has he got gold in his veins? No, he was rubbed on and they petted on him. And after they petted on him, he died very softly and gently. And it has a lot to do with how the meat is. I think the problem is not so much that we're using the animals. I think the problem is the fact that they have gotten so greedy that they have mass produced the animal. Now see, what they're trying to get every human being to feel bad about eating the animal. But let's stop for a second. How many of us have a slaughterhouse in our backyard that literally creates a pouch to pour corn inside of a cow? How many of us do that? How many of us have the opportunity to take a cow and shove it full of antibiotics? How many of us take a chicken that starts out like a small little bitty, okay? And then we pump it up the size of a turkey so that we can make more money within 3 weeks of the time that it was born? How many of us do that? How about this? I submit you stop what you're doing. Leave us alone and let us grow our own fruits and vegetables, chickens, cows, or whatever we want on our land. And y'all go on back to the planet you came from. How about that? How about y'all go ahead and get on? How about you take off your earth suit and let us see who you really are so that enough of folks will get mad and run your behind up out of here? How about that? How about that? How about that? Yeah, thought so. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Everybody is living in this world of lovey-dovey, happy, things are okay, everything's fine. Yeah, it's bad, but it could be worse. You know, just treat everybody nice and kind. Sometimes it ain't about that. Sometimes it's about seeing what's really up and pushing the envelope. My coffee pot is now empty. They forcing science to be the practice like a religion, and it is a religion. It is exactly a religion. It is exactly what they're trying to do. They have exacted their revenge on Yah's creation. Okay? They have exacted their revenge on Yah's creation, and they are doing exactly what they are supposed to do. But it's us who need to change our way of thinking. Somebody said earlier about having a community. That's exactly what we need. And if you listen to the end of Dr. Cynthia McKinney's interview that's available over there on Patreon, it's exactly what she was saying. To have an intentional community. That means you ain't just going to let no schlubs in. Okay? You're not just going to let anybody in. You got to all of you have the same mind. Let somebody eat more than you. And you done put in more work. And that's the honest truth about it. We're going to have to get to that place. Okay? If you plant the same seed over decades, the plant becomes weak and unstable. How can they sustain quality of meat? They're using samples of samples. That's because it's just such a lie. It's just such a lie. All of it is just such a lie. You know? It's just such a lie. Ronnie.d.Mann says, thanks. And I know you're right. Felicia gets on me bad about that. But in the interim, one can definitely find me here at the Lockhart Perspective. I would love for as many people that could to please support Ronnie.d.Mann's channel. But you know what? You got to really know him. And I'm going to interview him again so that all the new people really, really hear his heart, so that you understand exactly where he's going. You know what I mean? What he's up to, what he's all about. The more I hear you, the better I like you. God bless you richly. Thank you so very much. We perish from a lack of knowledge, so pay attention and help others get their heads out of the sand. Yes, Ross Boyd. Absolutely. Absolutely. The spirit constantly tries to put itself over. That's right. That's right, Knowledge 2020. That's absolutely right. That is absolutely right. I don't understand how anyone can think this fake meat stuff is okay. Crazy difficult times for sure. What is your body going to do? It's just like when they started making saccharin. You get your pancreas all set up for sugar by telling your mind that natural sugar is coming, and then all of a sudden you put something in it and it has no idea what to do. So it just forms nice little cancer cells over in the corner, standing up like they're hugging the wall at a 7th grade party. At a 7th grade sports night at the college or the elementary campus. You know what I'm saying? You get your pancreas all set up for sugar, and then you send it fake sugar, and then you don't know why you're sick, because that stuff had no place to go. It can't go through what part? It can't go through any parts of the body. Sarah Brown says carbon capture scares me. They're running a carbon capture pipeline through Iowa, through the Corn Belt. Plants need carbon to make oxygen. It's kind of important. So what they're doing is they're going to destroy mankind, because if you don't have the trees and you don't do what originally had planned, then you're going to have the opposite. It's like taking somebody's plan that they had for a creation that they created, maybe a car or something like that, and then you do the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're running the electrical go straight through the carburetor. Just bypass completely the alternator. We're not even going to use the alternator. We're just going to take everything and run it through a carburetor. If you've got a carburetor, if you're smart enough to still have something with a carburetor in it. But I digress. So you run everything straight through the carburetor. All the stuff that would be going over here that's pulling off the alternator, you're going to run it through over here. And you're going to expect for it to last. It's not going to just pop, blow up as soon as you turn it on. Oh, sure. It's not going to happen. I only see 40 in the chat, but I have another number that shows me more. I need to see people just stick up a 1. That's all I need. Just type a 1 to let me know that you are here, so that we can get a true count of how many people are here, because I'm calling BS on their BS. Knowledge is power. Truth is powerful. That's absolutely right. Robert Ingram over the other side of the pond. How are you? Had no internet for 3 days. Great to hear you again. And it's great to have you here, brother. I hope that you're still here, because I'm a little behind on all of these comments, because we're about to get off. But I have to have everybody. I have to have all of y'all be seen. I can't just have you putting comments in the chat and you not even seeing your comment. I think that is so not nice. Marty Lauderdale, I know, right? These young kids are buying Beyond Meat, and they look so unhealthy. I feel bad. They have trained them since birth to think that meat is bad for them, for nutrients. If you don't want to eat meat, get yourself some spinach. Spinach has more protein than a steak any day. Get you some spinach if you need it, okay? Get you some spinach. Get you all the good stuff that you need. But for the love of Pete, would you leave this stuff alone? We don't understand what's going to happen to our bodies. Ronnie.d.Mann says Thanksgiving. No, thank you. I already celebrated and gave thanks at the Feast of Tabernacles. That's right. We're Hebrew, and we only go by the feasts here. Just so that you know, the majority of our chat for the Lockhart Perspective all have the same understanding. Okay, and they're all living by Yah's word. So that's why we don't do any holidays or anything like that. But it's okay if you guys come over here and say something and you didn't know. Now you know. I had somebody say Merry Early Christmas to me the other day, and I was like, dude, you didn't know that I'm a Hebrew. I don't do the whole Christmas thing. We've already celebrated everything that we're going to celebrate. Now it's time for the pagans, and the witches to do what they're going to do for the rest of the year. The whole Baby New Year thing that's coming up, and then the Thanksgiving thing that's coming up. All of these things can be traced back to paganism. And if you can trace something back to its origins and you see what it is, well, you got to trust and believe that they are who they say they are. You can't make them out to be somebody else. Bless their little hearts. Okay, it's more than slightly Europeanized, girl. Okay, so we're almost out of here, you guys. I'm going to put up the rest of your comments, and then we're going to roll out. Great show. Thank you. You're doing great. Keep it. Your voice is sweet to the ears. Oh boy. It's not when I have to tell my adult kids to clean up their mess in the kitchen after they came to the house after work and cooked. You better get back here. What's the matter with you? You think you got a maid? My voice ain't so sweet then. Yes, that's exactly right, Starfire Horizon. Baby scalps on mice. Yes, that's exactly, and I think it's the reverse also. Yes, please do hit the like button. I doubt very strongly if it'll make any difference. Because they've been zapping my likes, and I've been sending all kind of kooky stuff over there to Twitter, asking them, hey, can you help me understand this? How did this nice lady put a comment up, and she didn't say anything wrong, she didn't remove it, but here it is, I screenshot it, and it's not anywhere near. There are people that are putting in comments, and it'll slip through their algorithm, and I'll end up seeing it on one side, whether it be via the email that they send, which will probably stop after I say this, or the bell notification that tells me that somebody has made a comment. And there's been a couple of occasions where people make a very clean, sweet, kind comment, and they will remove it for what I don't know. For what I don't know, just because they're stupid, and just because, you know, they think they're smart, and just because they want everybody to just be under their control. You know what I'm saying? Like I said the other day, if I was Lizzo scooching around up here in a bikini, God forbid, first of all, if you would ever see me scooch around in a bikini. If you would ever have me tear up your eyesight like that. But if I were Lizzo, I'd be okay over here. Okay, so I have a 1 from R. Jones, a 1 from Mama Bear, Papa Bear. I know that Knowledge is here. Knowledge 2020, Starfire is still here. Sharon is still here. You know what? Kimberly is still here. Angela's here. Ronnie's here. Marty's here. Okay, Dan Schramm and Knowledge 2020. Dan Schramm is here. Starfire, yes, okay. Amy Duran is still here. Truth Broadcasting is still here. William Craig is still here. And we have Robert Ingram still here. So what they're doing is they're taking all of you guys and they're shrouding you from one another. Because they're taking you, they're shrouding you, they're not letting me see you, they're not letting your statements or comments being seen by others. So you guys know what we're going to do. I'm going to start to let you all know when I'll be live on other platforms, because I know that you can now go live over on Odyssey, and I know, look at all these folks that are here. Okay? Star Ali, how are you? Okay, Sam Keen, bless up, teacher from the UK. We seek and speak the truth. Come on now. Hey, hallelujah. Okay, just got Marty's tweet. So kind. I'm so happy to know that Marty and everybody is sharing it out. You know, we're trying to get this channel here, the Lockhart Perspective, to 4,000 subscribers. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. We need to get at least 4,000 subscribers. So what we said is, if we shoot to the 5,000 number, perhaps after they're done taking most of them away as they've done when we've gotten close to that number in the past, we'll possibly settle at 4,000. Okay, you guys, we are 6 minutes past our time to say goodbye here. Don't want to overstretch you, but tomorrow, please see us again here at the Lockhart Perspective. If you guys want me to continue to share this on Headlines with a Voice, please let me know. I don't want to leave you guys out, and so that's the reason why I have been sharing it with you all. If you want me to continue this, please leave a comment on that side. Leave a comment on Headlines with a Voice after we're done here. I'm asking you to do that for 2 reasons. The first reason is I need it to help push up the comments over there because they're suppressing them. And then the second reason is because I need to take some type of idea of how many people want this type of stuff on that channel. I've been very, very, standoffish about putting a lot of things over there because I really don't know the pulse that you guys have. Bettina did a great job of having things go a certain way, and I love the way that she did it. And so I don't want to make you guys uncomfortable by doing stuff you're not used to. If you're interested, please let me know in a comment after this has uploaded and broadcasted down below in the standard comments to let me get a gauge of if this is something you're interested in, and if so, I will continue. Currently, Truth Broadcasting said, I currently eat chicken and fish. I won't later because it won't make sense in the future. Wow, that's not my chicks at Felicia, okay? Yes, for the reminder. Yes. Okay? All right, you guys. I'm putting up what you got to say here. I love all of you guys. I want you to remember what we always say here on this channel, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High Yah. Until we see one another again, you guys continue to be blessed. Tomorrow I will see you here at 9 a.m., Yah willing, and we're going to have our Fifi's Coffee and Jazz Cafe. Hope to see you there. You guys take care of yourselves and take care of one another. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
I've always been a unique person, you know what I mean? Sort of laid back in a way, but very adamant and very passionate about what I believe. I think a lot of times that sort of throws people off because they don't expect me to have the mindset or the process of thought that I do. And so when you come in to watch my channel, you may hear a myriad of thoughts and ideas that could be different from others. What I want you to do is just sit back, like, share, and subscribe. To make sure that I get all of you guys' comments, I'm going to run one song because I don't want any comments to be left unseen. So I'm going to run one or two songs just to get all you guys' comments on the screen, okay? If you want to leave, that's fine, but I still don't want to ignore anybody, okay? Here you go.
Sun ain't never lie, great day in the morning. Focus, never let the nighttime revoke it. Blinded by the dark, I seen it before they cloaked it. It was marvelous, they hiding it behind the pulpit. Lying in a sick bed, vying with the culprit. How we trying on the culture, like in how it fit, now we dying with the vulture. At the round table with more nights than Mozart. Caught up in the image of that child on that poster. The light disable the diagnosis, healing the sick. I got the script and the dosage. Take it for the grind, you gon' need it for the borderline. Holla when you see the joy coming, morning time. Keep on keeping on. Morning time. Holla when you see the joy coming. Look, I guess we probably need a night light so we can continue to get our hope on. They say we headed for that light, right? Well, I'ma hit them with this photon, with that blazing sword forming like Voltron. When the morning come, they disappearing like Croatan. The Melachine, oh my Elohim, Omicron, sealed with the 70, going out like Yoke and 9. And when I meet my deliverer, I'm set apart, I got peace like a river. If we stay sharp with it, there's a feast on the sliver, we can take part. I advise you play it smart, it's a late start, let the light shine through the dark. Until the day star rise in your heart, take heart. When you find the door, you'll be more than fine. Holla when you see the joy coming, morning time. beginning, Yah created the heavens and the earth. His spirit moved upon the waters. It's all in his word. He said, let there be light. And he called the light day. In the darkness he called night. He saw that it was. He made heaven and called forth the dry land. Gathered the waters, called it the seed. And he made seed for man. Brought forth the grass and every herb and every fruit yielding tree on this earth. He saw that it was. He made lights to divide day and night times for seasons, days and years to let them be for signs. And so the earth could have light. He made the greater one to rule the day and the lesser one to rule the night. Let's not forget he made the stars also. Then he told the waters to bring forth life, and it was so. He created all the birds of the sky, all the cattle and every creeping thing after his own kind. He saw that it was. Then Yah created man. In his own image he created them. Male and female he created them. He blessed them to be fruitful and to multiply and to replenish the earth and subdue everything within. Nah, behold, it was very good when he saw what he had made. The even in the morning were the sixth day. And on the seventh day he rested. That's why he sanctified and blessed it. It's uncontested, my Yah is. And to make it understood, I'm bumping truth music when I'm rolling through my hood. I'm putting Yah first, no hood fame. You read it on a nameplate. Dwell in the house of Yahweh forever for his name's sake. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm stomping through like it don't even exist. His goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. My Yah is. And to make it understood, I'm bumping music when I'm rolling through my hood. And to make it understood, I'm bumping music when I'm rolling through my hood.
Lockhart Perspective.